Now, for more on that story, let's go now to VOA's Margaret Bashir in the United Nations headquarters in New York. Hi, Margaret.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us today. Now, you know, one of the first concerns that was raised by Sudan once this arrest warrant was issued on March 4th was that it would jeopardize the peace process. And I guess now Mr. Djibril Basole's statement to the Security Council kind of echoes that.
It does. Well, he said, for example, that the main rebel group, the GEM, the Justice and Equality Movement, they don't want to speak to the president anymore. They don't want to deal with him. He's an indicted war criminal. And they say, in fact, that they will capture him and turn him over to the court. So situations like this, where the actors, the parties to the talks, are not cooperating, it's certainly a problem.
This was obviously discussed behind closed doors. Is obviously a very sensitive issue, would you say?
Oh, certainly. But Mr. Basile, we got a copy of the text of his remarks to the Security Council on Thursday, and he urged them, and diplomats said this after the meeting, he urged the Security Council to take into consideration the African Union's concerns. And that is, we know their position. It's been from the very beginning. We want a deferral of the charges against President Bashir for at least a year. The Security Council has the authority to do that under the Rome Statute. And they say this will help the peace process. And this has been their main request. And in fact, next month, they're supposed to be sending a delegation from the African Union and also the League of Arab States to the United Nations to make this appeal to the Security Council.
Now, just to stretch that point a little bit, the African Union, of course, position you've just articulated, the fact that Mr. Bashir went to both Egypt and Libya, non-members of the Roman Statute, but what do you think of the message that it's giving out? And then is this putting the UN Security Council under pressure to maybe consider invoking Article 16, which would defer the prosecution?
No, I don't think that his traveling is putting the Council under any kind of pressure. It's showing his defiance, but I don't see how it could be persuasive to the Council. I mean, what he needs to do is maybe sign a peace deal with Darfur, or do something very concrete to get the Council to invoke their powers. But no, I think his traveling, it's very defiant. And in fact, the prosecutor for the International Criminal Court, Luis Moreno Ocampo, said today that he doesn't see it as defiance, he sees it as desperation.
Thank you so much. Margaret Bashir in our VOA headquarters in New York. Thanks for joining us today.